What you are watching is a chapter out of my book, The Normies Guide to the Theory of Nothing. Now you do not need to watch the rest of these chapters in order to enjoy this chapter. This chapter is good all on its own. So if you like this chapter as a nice sample of the book, you can watch the rest of the book in order from the beginning, if you enjoy. Namaste, mother duckers.
Chapter 18, Confirmation Bias. Trying to connect this topic with the theory of nothing was easy to do. Try to do your best to do no thing with confirmation bias. Fairly simple stuff, and can actually apply to any form of bias. While you go your own way, it appears to me that the quickest way to slip into error is to assume that you already know the truth of the matter. This is because whenever new information is presented to you that goes against your pre-existing belief structure, you dismiss the information as a miscalculation. That is confirmation bias against an idea. Confirmation bias for an idea is when questionable and blatantly lazy methodologies are ignored to use that information to add to your own library of evidence supporting a pre-existing notion. However, doing no thing with confirmation bias is a lot easier said than done. Thinking requires energy. Critical thinking requires even more energy. And so long as the opposing ideas don't interfere with your direct ability to consume energy, and so long as your relative equilibrium isn't perturbed, there is not a lot we can do to motivate ourselves to change our own minds on the matter. It takes effort to get to the truth.
But when the lazy truth from the first hill is handed out on a silver platter on golden tablets, it is much more appealing and downright satisfying to believe at first.
It is socially advantageous, and therefore evolutionarily advantageous, to take the truth that takes the fewest amount of steps to attain. The easiest truth that allows for the continued sexual reproduction of an individual will be the truth the normies of a culture will gravitate to en masse. Even the cold hard truths need to be presented in a warm, fuzzy, and engaging manner in order for practically everyone to be curious enough to analyze a matter further. Why dig for the truth when the truth is already here? Why question the narrative when it fits together so beautifully? The hasty confirmation of a particular hypothesis and the self's will for a particular conclusion to be right are at the core of many types of bias. The self's will to seek out, comprehend, and handle the truth appears at first glance to be insatiable, in the sense that there is always more to learn about said truth.
But if nothing can satiate one's desires to have the ultimate truth, then let nothing satisfy you. Be content. But if you desire to continue absurdly pushing and working to get Sisyphus's rock on the top of the metaphorical mountain, when the rock, the mountain, and Sisyphus, the self, alike will go to nothing, you are free to go your own way. Nothing satisfies like a deep, uncontrollable laughter.
The act of assuming that what is contained on the golden tablets is true is not only easier, there have been many times in history when speaking out against the golden tablets have been, shall we say, supernaturally selected against. A supernatural selection against the outgroup of disbelievers, and a supernatural selection for the in-group of believers. Only since the Age of Enlightenment have the critically thinking minority been, at least in part, comfortable in speaking out without the looming fear of a premature death. There are many alive today that still fear the shunning and death by those radically bent on the truth of their own golden tablets, but by our combined efforts, and with the help of Zilchanata, we may accelerate this trend towards fearless critical thinking within the population as a whole. So for the normies, I ask you to please increase your awareness of your biases. This change, I hypothesize, will result in more empathy and understanding of other points of view held in the collective.
It is necessary for a peaceful global society to recognize that there may be multiple towers of belief that can correctly explain the data with good reasoning. Yes, there are times when multiple hypotheses can sufficiently explain what is going on. That is not a problem. The postulate that no known thing created everything is one tower of atheism, and the postulate that nothing created everything is another tower of nihilism.
While there are yet subjects in this world, the complete annihilation of bias may be impossible, but this is no excuse to allow bias to run unrestrained through the fields of scientific discourse.
Just because we must filter the objective through our own subjective lenses does not give us the right or privilege to force our individual truth glasses onto other subjects.
Also, allowing others to examine either A, the same objective phenomena in hopes of finding a consensus on the objective truth, or B, allowing others to examine the metaphorical cleanliness or prescription of your own truth glasses is exclusively a privilege. Allow me to continue by pointing out that opinions and bias have a lot in common. They are subjective and everybody has them. But to continue with the glasses metaphor, an opinion is the subject and the glasses working together to tell a narrative. But a bias is either a conscious or subconscious warping of the glasses to make the end narrative beneficial to the self in either the eyes of the self or the eyes of others. In a public disagreement, a person sues another. Then a lawyer warps the lenses for the court to fit with their narrative. A good judge and a good jury can see past some of these warpings, but they rarely get a full picture after all of the warping is said and done. Between courtrooms to make someone look guilty or not guilty, news stations to make eye-catching content that viewers would watch, history and political documentation so that certain agendas are taught, and religious dogma that reinforce the claims of the Golden Tablets, biases are everywhere.
Oh yeah, I need to get into preacher mode.
Nobody is exempt from bias. She sees things exactly as they are. She sees it as it is. Praise be. Be more like nobody, Null. Get rid of your biases. Yeet those biases that are chaining you down from seeing the truth. By the power of Zilchinada, break every chain. Be free from every falsehood and warping of the truth. End your racist bullshit, that evil race bias. Be gone every phobia that divides and pushes away one from another. Shunning, gosh, shun thee, you wretched bias against thought crimes and harmless actions. Confirmation bias, statistics bias, and cultural bias, you will have no place in the great nothingness that comes after. No falsehood or lie will reach us there. The truth of the null hypothesis will be seen by everybody and nobody. With maximum disorderliness of entropy will end in the perfect order of nothing. Oh, hallelujah, hallelujah, Ramen. Praise and glory and honor be to the ones who be and not be, Selchinada. Oh, do you feel the Holy Spirit up in here today?
I felt it.
This dude feels it.
Oops, wait, too much somethingness. We shouldn't feel anything. And yet, there are feelings to be had. How does that work? There appears to be a non-natural stirring of the Holy Spirit at work in this portion of the book.
I can work with that.
Let's recalibrate back to equilibrium for a moment as we head into the healings and miracles portion of the Null hypothesis. I fucking love this part of the book.